Hello there, I'm Jim Slosson. I am probably one of your students' math teachers in either 6th, 7th, or 8th grade. And I just wanted to take a moment to chat with you about 3 things your kids have probably told you. First one is, he's really old, and that's absolutely true. And actually, I'm older than I look and a lot older than I act. We're not going to deal with that one anymore today. The other things they told you is we don't use a textbook and there's almost no homework, and those 2 are true. And today I would like to deal with the textbook issue because there are things going on that your kids don't know about, and we do sort of use a textbook. This is the textbook we use in our school. It's based on Singapore methods. There's actually 6 books, 2 for each grade level, 6, 7, and 8. And I have to say, it's really a pretty great book. There's a reason I don't use it much. This particular page happens to be about geometric construction, something they don't do so much anymore in the regular schools. I'm a big fan of that. Of course, you can tell because I'm a carpenter. The illustrations are really clear and meaningful. No problem with that at all. And the write-up is pretty good. And there's plenty of great problems in this book. This is a pretty darn good book. This one happens to be 7th grade. So I should say to begin with, we do use the book. I read every chapter, and I make sure that we're covering all the material that's in the book. When I begin to do a series of lessons, after I get done with the book, the next thing I do is look what are called the Common Core Standards for each grade level. Now, these happen to be 7th grade standards, and there are so many. And I look at each one of them, and they go on in great detail about what students are supposed to know and learn and be able to do when they finish the grade level. So that's my second source of information. Start with the book, then we look at the standards. After we've looked at all the standards and we've looked at the textbook very carefully, I try to get straight in my mind what it is we want the students to accomplish, and I actually write the test before I write the lessons. Now, this is kind of interesting because you can see at this point in the semester, the trimester, we're really focused on circles and decomposing complex objects. But then look at that. There's some 6th grade stuff there. Simple equations, and oh, there's the start of some linear equations that will occur later on. Let me shut this off for just a second and show you another page. So on one test, we're also studying angles, something we did before. We're talking about speed, time, and distance. We call it DIRT because it's easier to remember. Distance equals rate times time. And there's some more algebra and some percentages and some fractions. So every time we do a test or a lesson, we're not only doing what we're doing today, but we're looking backwards. We are constantly reviewing what we did in the past. So then after I've got the test straight, it's time to go ahead and make the lessons. Here's the lesson that precedes that test. This happens to be the 5th lesson in Unit 2, and we were working on circles. Got to do it forwards, do it backwards, and if you want to have a root beer sometime, I'll tell you why pi equals 3. Saves a lot of time on a calculator, and you get a pretty close answer. And here's some other stuff we started learning in 6th grade, and there's some algebra that will continue on into 8th grade. So every lesson supports exactly what we're trying to do on the test. Here's just a quick look at the back of lesson 7-2E. You can see there's a broad range of things we're reviewing every single day in our class. Now, the interesting thing about these lessons is that they're due at the end of the period every single day. Every day in our class is a graded day. Grades tend to be a little too high, and I have to be honest, I've never been in a school before where all of the students did all of the work every day. So I guess I'll just have to learn how to live with that. So we have 4 legs on our table. We have standards, we have the book, we have tests, and we have lessons. And this is the 5th leg of our 5-legged table. This is our reference book that all of the students have in their binder. I'd like to show you just a page or 2 about the circles. So we have the book, we have the standards, we have the test, we have the lessons, and this is the 5th leg of our 5-legged table. the spiral notes. There's two, it's kind of a play on words. Spiral in education circles means that you keep coming back and reviewing things. And we used to actually keep our notes in spiral notebooks. So in any case, this is the spiral notebook reference page that goes with the lesson on circles. It's how we introduce the topic. And we start out by talking about circumference and diameter and radius. And we have a little rhyme, C and D connect by 3, and radius looks like half to me. So that's the particular page. Students keep that in their binder, and they can use that as their ready reference if they happen to forget about circles. This is actually the page that goes in the notebook after that. And it's really, for these guys in 7th grade, a review of what they learned in 6th grade when we started using protractors and measuring angles. But I think you get the idea. The kids do have a book. It's about 80 pages. It's got a table of contents, and it's indexed so they can find any topic quickly. And that kind of concludes why we don't have a textbook. Hey, thanks for watching so far today. Let's do a little summary on why we don't use a textbook that the kids are used to. We do use a textbook, as you saw. The biggest problem with the book is it doesn't have that daily review of everything that they've done going back a year or more. So that's an advantage we can give them. Kids need many, many iterations of practice to become masters of basic math, and we do that every day. The second thing is, with a book, they have to take the information out of the book and then transfer it to a piece of paper. And for some kids, that's real difficult. This way, it's all on the paper. The third advantage of not using the normal textbook is that I can adjust the difficulty of the problems. Actually, we call them opportunities. But I can adjust the difficulty to match up with their calculating skills. I find that many kids can grasp the concepts of math, but they get really hung up because they have to pull out that darn calculator and hit on and clear and then put in the numbers and so on. Whereas if it's 7 times 8, it's 56, and we should already be on to the next part of the opportunity. We don't call them problems. So there's a lot of advantages to doing this. Yes, it is a lot of work. It takes me a couple hours to write a lesson. This is, as we're talking today, late August 2025, and I have been working on the 7th grade book since about June 1st, 2025. I hope to have it done about Christmas time. Fortunately, 6th and 8th grade are already printed and cataloged and ready to go. So I just have to keep a couple months ahead of the students, and we will have, I think, a pretty good series and a pretty good opportunity. If you have further questions, don't hesitate to email me and we'll set up a meeting time, or we can chat over the phone. And what else did I want to tell you? Oh, we'll talk about daily assignments and grading and how that all goes later and why we minimize the homework. But that's for a different video and a different day. Thank you so much, and thank you, not only for watching, but gosh, I have just the greatest kids. I am so blessed. I mean, clearly, this is the not the sunset of my career, but the twilight. And I am so blessed to work with such great kids every day. It's just a wonderful way to end my career. Thank you.